Hi, it's Sharon here from the Energy Recovery Programme, and I'd just like to share with you some of my thoughts and practices around dealing with the upcoming clock changes, really. There's quite a lot that I see around this that can be really adversely affecting our energy systems. And if we are recovering from adrenal fatigue or we've got any fatigue issues at all, then this time of year can bring an extra double whammy with it, because basically the clock's changed by a whole hour. It's a collective decision that's made, and we all basically go through what I call collective jet lag. Suddenly our whole schedule is interrupted. What I see in myself as someone who has to manage their energy really, really wisely, and as I see in my clients, people can get really fatigued and quite stressed around this time. And there is a phrase that's used for that, sort of like the winter blues, seasonal affective disorder, and this is something which is actually, from my perspective, a really natural thing. Because basically we've got a pineal gland, that pineal gland in our brain, which we've had since we evolved, from amoeba, since we became mammals. That's to do with helping our bodies to know what's happening with the light levels, which then determines lots of basic physiological functions, including hormone production, hunger, sleep patterns, all the rest of it. And these things get completely scrambled, just like that, twice a year, in the autumn and in the spring. And as we go into winter, the seasonal affective disorder is actually a complete natural response, a natural slowing down due to the change in light levels. But due to our modern lifestyle, we're a bit disconnected from that natural rhythm. So what I get really passionate about around every year is just helping people understand that, and just give a moment to just really think about that and how that might impact on you. So that's really why I've put these 3 little videos together, just to kind of share a lot of that stuff, really. Okay, so in this video we're going to be talking about the reasons why it's important to know about it, some of the health aspects of that, and also a little bit of Jin Shin Jitsu to help resource you. And in the next video we're going to do quite a lot more Jin Shin Jitsu, just to help you, give you some basic self-help that you can be using. And in the last video we're going to talk a bit about some other factors like environmental factors, foods and stuff like that. Okay, great. So there's quite a lot of science behind this now to show that when the clocks change, especially in the autumn, there's a lot of impact it has socially and physically. There's a much stronger incidence in sort of accidents on the road, including car accidents, things like that, people getting run over, people knocked off bikes, that sort of thing. There's also a lot more increase in work-related injuries, people just not quite on it. So accidents happen because people are tired, and they're sort of scrambled up, basically, from my perspective. Their energy system's a bit scrambled up. Also, there's a growing number of heart attacks around at this time of the year as well, once the clocks change, which I wasn't aware of, so I did a little bit of background study into this. And also mood, obviously, is a big one. Hunger's a big one. You might find that you crave more sugary things. It's very natural. The light levels are changing, so that's pretty natural. And the big one is sleep pattern is disrupted and energy is affected. So, and those are the 2 areas that I'm particularly well resourced in sharing information around, because those are the 2 which have affected me the most. Okay, so there's a very simple Jin Shin Jitsu flow that we can do, and it's very easily overlooked because a lot of Jin Shin is very simple, and in our society we kind of look for things a bit more complicated to do. But what I'm going to share with you now is simply holding the middle finger, this one. Okay, so all you've got to do is just take one hand and wrap it Very gently, comfortably and lovingly around the opposite middle finger. Drop your shoulders and breathe out. That's it's very relaxing to the system. What it does is emotionally it helps with feelings of frustration and anger. Even if we're not conscious about that on a subconscious level, if we've had a whole hour of our week just changed, that's going to have an impact, you know. So it helps, and also helps us to manage our frustration if we're feeling more tired and not quite with it. Knowing that there is a reason for that is kind of helpful. Personally, I use it to manage my frustration at the whole concept of the clocks changing, so that helps me. So on a physiological level, it's working with the energy for the liver meridian and the gallbladder meridian. And the liver meridian helps us with, physically, it helps with hormone production. And so that's really important because it's basically our hormonal system is up the spout, because the circadian rhythm, the natural rhythm, is shifted massively. So physiologically it helps with that. So that's the kind of the level of ease that I kind of tend to work at, is make things as easy as possible. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this first video. The last thing I want to end on really is about what I've noticed over the years is that the people that are most affected, as well as those of us with fatigue issues, also children get very, very affected by the clocks changing, get quite upset because their rhythms are disrupted, because they're much more in tune with their natural rhythms and cycles. Elderly people can get quite affected, a bit upset by it, and especially if there's any sort of dementia or anything like that sort of appearing. And also animals get really affected because their routines and rhythms are changed. And so just to kind of notice that and just be extra kind, you know, just be extra patient, if you like, with those around you at this time, because it's something that is affecting all of us on some level, whether we're conscious of it or not, whatever we feel about it or think about it. We're in a kind of collective, yes, I say a collective jet lag. So just be kind to everyone around you and to yourself. Okay, I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.